Hello there. Well, KLM Royal Dutch Airlines has from today suspended long-haul flights to and from the Netherlands. It follows strict border controls by the Dutch government to combat mutant coronavirus strains. Local Dutch media reports that 270 flights into the country will be cancelled, including intercontinental and some European routes, mainly flights which require fly crews to spend the night outside of the Netherlands will be affected. Now, this is all aimed at keeping out the newly discovered and highly contagious COVID-19 strain. Speaking of the Netherlands, they have imposed specific measures which will include a national curfew and a temporary ban on flights to South Africa, most South American countries you could see on your screen there, and the United Kingdom. In Africa, we're having that of South Africa, be hit by this particular development, as well as Cape Verde. We shall be keeping an eye on this one, especially when all passengers bound for the Netherlands from any foreign country must take a rapid test prior to departure, as well as a standard PCR test upon arrival. This is the development story we're getting from KLM and the Dutch government. We shall be keeping an eye on this to give you impact, to give you, much more updates in our subsequent bulletins. But yesterday, we assessed the impacts of the Biden administration on trade relations with Africa. Already, Biden has reversed executive orders by Trump on the travel ban on Nigeria, Sudan, and other countries, as many experts believe that this could be a fresh start for U.S.-Africa trade relations. Others also hold the faith that the Continental Free Trade Agreement will also be a stepping stone for trade talks and agreements. But what about the Ghanaian businesses in the U.S.? Let's cross over to speak to James Ken Kofi, the CEO of Ghanaian Way Supermarket at Newark, New Jersey, as well as Justice Ohene, a young Ghanaian also resident and working there. Gentlemen, we're so grateful that you joined us, and Happy New Year to each one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Thanks for having us.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Let me start off with you, Ken. Of course, these are very special moments for you. And as a business owner, what does this Biden's new administration mean to you as a Ghanaian business owner in the U.S.?
Yes. Biden administration is very important to us, especially he has end the isolation, which was done by Trump, American isolation. Now, America is open to the world, which means the business community from Ghana to Nigeria is going to continue. Ghanaians are ready to, do business with America. We need the Ghana products to come to America to help the economy of Ghana. So it's very, very exciting. We are very happy about it.
Justice, I could see the smile on your face. I mean, this could come as good news to so many young immigrants like yourself living in the United States. What particular future does this new administration hold for you as a young Ghanaian making your strides in the U.S.?
This Biden new administration, I believe, is the best news for Africans living in the U.S. today, because there's a new era of civility in American politics. And I believe this is the time for immigrants to also take advantage of the various opportunities that the new government is bringing on board, especially with immigration and a host of other policies that are targeting the immigrant population here in the U.S.
That's great. Well, Ken, your business, you own a supermarket, and we cannot let go the discussion of the Africa Growth Opportunity Act. That's the AGWA program. This is where Africa taps into the market value of the U.S. And I visited the shop once, and I saw so many made in Ghana, made in Africa goods there. Where do you see yourself under this new regime, and even position yourself well to take advantage of the opportunities that come with AGWA, with the Continental Free Trade moving forward?
Yes, we have. We have a lot of businesswomen who come from Ghana, and they have been continually work with that program, which is very helpful. And also, the new administration is going to be helping the small businesses, especially the minority businesses, to, because of the pandemic, we will be able to, survive, which we have done so far. Thank God, So this administration is an open to us, especially we know Biden. He has been there for 8 years, and he's going to be there for us for the next 4 years at least. So we know he's going to work with us. Yes.
Let me end up with you, Justice. You have dreams, you have greater potential, having to start your own business as a young man, having to even complete your college education, things that somewhat remain underpressed under the Trump administration for reasons best known to us. But help me understand the new picture that this administration paints for you in terms of trade, your career moving forward.
Right. In terms of trade, I believe it's a new era for the agro, as you rightly mentioned. So the Biden administration brings Africa to the table as partners and not as parasites feasting on America, but as real partners that are working hand in hand with Africa. So it's time for young people like myself to also bring their knowledge on board into agro processing and industry to package and improve on what we have in Africa, so that we can make some gains from it. So that's the opportunity that it brings to all of us.
I can understand. I can understand. Justice Ken, we're so grateful that you joined us with the stories, and we wish you all the best, especially when we have a new wave of COVID in the U.S. We believe that you keep things up. We're grateful once again. Justice is a Ghanaian living in the U.S., as well as Ken. He owns a shop, as you can see there, in Newark, New Jersey. Grateful once again.
The restaurants.
Thank you.
We have the restaurants. We would like anybody who visits us to come here and enjoy the great food we are cooking here. The cuisine is the best. So I want you, next time you come here, make sure you are all visit to us.
I'll do that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, gentlemen, from the U.S. You can understand their happiness. Ghana has a new tourism minister designate in the person of Dr. Awal Mohammed. His appointment comes in the wake of the global pandemic grinding the country's tourism sector to a near collapse. Mr. Awal comes with various experiences from the Business Development Ministry. But what does his appointment mean to the hospitality sector? We do know that Ghana's tourism sector has been really hit by COVID-19. Hotels, leisure centers have all been shut down. What exactly does he bring on board, especially in these uncertain times for the tourism sector? Dr. Edward Akanyamika Jr. is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. He joins us via Zoom. We're having this discussion, Doctor, in a wake of previous ones, and it all hovers on how COVID-19 has battered the tourism sector. Now we have a new phase. Dr. Mohammed Awal from the Business Development Ministry, now heading the Tourism Ministry. How do you receive his appointment?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Let me say that I think the president has made a very strategic choice in the person of Dr. Mohammed Awal. I have never met him before, but if you look at his profile with experience in marketing, don't forget he was the Marketing Man of the Year in 2009, his expertise in business development, journalism, and all that. He is what I think the industry needs at this crucial time. Because of COVID-19, we've had challenges with international visits, and this is the time to push for domestic tourism. And that will involve a lot of marketing. That will involve a lot of strategic positioning of businesses. And that's where the business development also comes in. And with his link with the media, we need the media in marketing Ghana as a destination, both within and with that. And of course, we also need funding to develop the various historical sites to improve tourism. So even though I have not seen his direct link with tourism business per se. I think that with his credentials, at least on paper, if he's to engage the tourism sector effectively, the emphasis on effectively, pushing for this public-private partnership forum, and he gets the input of the tourism players, especially the private sector, I think that will get very good results from his tenure.
Well, but shortly, help us understand what you believe should be the priority areas of Dr. Awal in his first 100 days as Minister for Tourism.
Well, interesting enough, we always do that. We always write to, at least in the past 2 or so years, we write to the incoming minister as to which areas we want him to focus for us. And here I'm restricting myself to the hotel industry. But generally, we want him to ensure that this public-private partnership forum is reinstated. It's in the Tourism Act that forum must be organized once in a quarter. And that is where you engage the private sector to give their input for decision making. So that should be done. And then also, you know, we have had issues with the disbursement of the Tourism Development Fund. We want him to investigate, not investigate per se, but review the work of the board of the Ghana Tourism Authority with regards to the Tourism Development Fund, and find ways that the private sector can benefit more from there. Let me quickly also add that we also want him to look at the National Tourism and Hospitality Training Policy, which is in the draft now. There are very serious issues with that document. We want him to review it and then come out with ways that we can make it better. And of course, the issue about copyright, it's still hanging. We have issues with the Ghana Music Rights Organization on that. We want him to deal with it. But we also want him to give us a blueprint on domestic tourism development in Ghana, in the situation we find ourselves.
All right. Doctor.
So there's a lot we expect from him, but for now, let me limit myself because of time.
All right. Dr. Aka, we're so grateful that you joined us. He is the president of the Hoteliers Association of Ghana, expressing their prospects, what they're expecting from the incoming minister designate for tourism. Let's still stay with President Akufo-Addo's ministerial appointment, because the Trade Minister, Alan Tremantin, has been maintained as a substantive minister for the Trade and Industries Ministry. Mark Bedu-Abuachi is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he's going to be helping us understand the Chamber's point of view on his retention, especially when he has played a pivotal role in Ghana's trade and industry sector. Under his leadership, we saw the Continental Free Trade Agreement area being established, with Ghana hosting the Secretariat. We've also seen him, flow with various interventionary programs, as the One District, One Factory initiative. Also, Alan Tremantin has fast-forwarded various reforms in Ghana's business industry, which has even, eased the cost of doing business in the country to some extent, with his close relationship with the finance ministry as well, to ensure that most of the business regulations we have in the country are business friendly and much more attractive to investors. We shall try and get in touch with Mark Bedu-Abuachi, the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I believe he's currently on. So, Mark, first of all, what's your response to Alan Tremantin being retained as the Minister Designate for Trade and Industry?
And let me say good afternoon to all of you, especially the members of the chamber. Let me say that the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and for that matter, the entire private sector, is super excited that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa has retained Honorable Alan Tremantin as the Minister of Trade and Industry for the next 4 years. In fact, Alan's understanding of private sector issues and also trade and trade-related issues is just exceptional. In fact, we have worked with him for a very long time, and his open door policy is always ready and willing to listen to us. Together and collectively, we have resolved a number of issues. And as you rightly said, some of the policies that he has introduced, especially the Business Enabling Environment Program, which sought to improve the business environment, has really helped the private sector. And also the business regulatory reforms, which sought to also improve the regulatory reforms, the regulations that affect the private sector in Ghana. For me, they are all exceptional. So we are super excited. We are happy that we are going to work with Alan for the next 4 years. So on behalf of the Council of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, And also on behalf of the entire private sector, I would like to say a big thank you to His Excellency Nana Addo for retaining Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen, and also to congratulate Honorable Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen, and also assure him that the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry is ready and willing to work with him to ensure that all the good work that he has started with the business environment will come to pass, and the private sector in Ghana will be the winner.
I can feel your, happiness there, but what about the expectations moving forward for the next 4 years of Alan Kyerematen as Minister for Trade and Industry?
Well, I think if you look at the private sector architecture, the government has a role to play, and Alan largely represents the private sector when it comes to the government business. So for us, we are also looking at how the environment will be improved further. As I said, the business enabling environment program is very good. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and we really support him. The regulatory environment, if you look at all the agencies under the Ministry of Trade, the Standard Authority, the GEPA, and all those institutions are doing very well. These are institutions that provide support to the private sector. So we expect that these institutions will live up to the expectation, and the Standard Authority, when you walk in here, you get all that you need. And then back to the after. The success or wherever we have reached with the after is largely through the support of Alan. Right from the initiation of the after from the AU level to Ghana level, Alan has played a very critical role. So going forward, we expect that he will really involve the private sector in all the things that they are doing regarding after, because at the heart of trade is private sector. So the private sector will produce, the private sector will export, the private sector will actually do the marketing. So the private sector is very key, and we expect that he will involve the private sector in all the after programs. After have just started, a lot of work needs to be done.
Sure.
If Ghana will benefit from the after, then we need to do more. The talk is okay, but what are we producing? What are we exporting? What is the support from the Ministry of Trade to businesses?
Okay.
We want to understand what after is. And that is where Ministry of Trade comes in to provide all the necessary support for us to benefit from the after. So for the next 4 years, I know it's going to be great, but a lot of work needs to be done. He has to do more to create the right environment for the private sector to thrive.
Mark Bedo-Abuaji, we're grateful that you joined us. He's the CEO for the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, giving us their reaction to the retention of Alan Kyerematen as the Trade Minister in the country. You're still watching The Marketplace, and you're welcome back. The National Development Planning Commission and the Ministry of Finance, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, has launched a COVID-19 recovery plan for 5 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in Ghana to bounce back their various economies. The implementation of the plan is expected to speed up the COVID-19 recovery process and accelerate progress towards the SDGs attainment. They ultimately build a wealthy, inclusive, sustainable, empowered and resilient Ghana. Martina Bugre has more in this report.
The beneficiary assemblies include the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Sanaribu Municipal Assembly, K2 South Municipal Assembly, Sefiawiansu Municipal Assembly, and the Kasina Nankana West District Assembly. Addressing participants at the launch in Tamale, Director General of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Kojo Esiam Mensah Abrampa, said if the nation would succeed hitting all the SDGs in the next 10 years, then there is the need to support the local economy.
We also know that if we're going to succeed in hitting all the targets for the SDGs in the next 10 years, then we need to look at how we can support the local economies of our respective districts and local governments. And if there's any time to do that, it is now. It is now that people are searching for alternatives. It is now that people are searching for new knowledge. It is now that people are taking risk in order to bring back their economic laurels and individual income, improve their individual incomes. And therefore, for National Development Planning Commission, much as we undertake our advisory responsibilities and advise the President and Parliament, we will also honor our key responsibility of supporting the sectors and local governments in the pursuit of building their economies. We're doing that in a close partnership with the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Local Government, and also UNDP in particular, and the other development partners.
He gave the rationale behind the establishment of the framework.
And we had a discussion on this, relating all this COVID effect to the SDG. It might be drawing us back, because one of the objectives of the SDG is that we shouldn't leave anyone behind. And at that time, we realized that we're leaving some behind, because the COVID effect had a relative impact on different spatial areas in the country. It had a very huge effect, particularly on the poor in the urban areas. It had a very strong effect on those districts and assemblies at the border areas, because the economy of these areas were affected. The urban area, which experienced some partial lockdowns, also had a lot of negative economic impact and effect. So we asked ourselves, as we are proceeding to prepare the medium-term development plans of the sectors and the districts, there is the need for the specific COVID effect. And for us to do that, we need to do an in-depth study and also identify the means, the tools, the knowledge of how we can facilitate the recovery of the most affected districts.
Madam Angela Lusig said the bottom approach to delivering the integrated national financing framework will target citizens directly at the local level.
Ghana's bottom-up approach to delivering integrated national financing frameworks is impressive because it directly targets local citizens in governance. It is also transformational because it puts SDGs at the heart of local government financing, building on already successful efforts to integrate the SDGs into national and local planning and budgeting processes. In addition, the government's commitment to establish SDG investor maps and investment fairs and to connect to businesses and the diaspora can only enrich these efforts. UNDP will continue to support this effort and to work as part of the entire United Nations system in Ghana to bring our collective expertise, experience, and resources to support the achievement of the SDGs in Ghana.
And that'll be all for business on Marketplace. I'm Charles IHA. It's been great coming your way. Join us same time on Monday.